just throw something in the chat, say hello, and that way I know that you are here and that you can hear me. And we'll get started on today's Monday Guitar Motivation. Here we are for another week, hanging out and talking about guitar. So today we're going to be doing, and I'll repeat this again once more people show up, but we're going to be talking about what I do for a daily legato practice. And you can look at this as a warm-up. You could look at this as a strength builder. It depends on how you're going to be using it. But hey, Sergi. Bert is here, Rashad is here, Chris is here. Awesome. We'll just wait for a few more people to show up here and we'll get started here. Keone? John from Tracy, California. My dad was from Minot. Very cool. I used to play in Minot quite a lot when I was playing in bands a lot. Jeffrey is here, Kevin is here, Dale is here, Mateo is here. Hey everybody, Peter Wheeler is here. Awesome. Hi everybody, James, Chester, Kieran, Juan, Jimmy, Hector, Armando, I'm from India is here. Hey, buddy. Daywalker is here. It's Stine time. Very nice. Kat is here from Texas. Hello, Kat. Hello, Robert, Matthew, El Trinidad. Awesome. I'm so glad you guys could join me. This is great. Jose Enrique Ibanez is here. Kent from Sweden is here. Very cool. Mark. John. Very nice. Hey, everybody. So thank you so much for being here. Let's see here. Just looking through. David is on time, he says. Tony is here. John from Canada is here. Rocky is here. Very cool. NDSB, not those sons of bitches. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so Tom is here. Jesus is here. Very nice. Okay, cool. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I've got quite a bit I want to talk to you about today. But just so you know, before I forget, if you're looking for some serious training, head over to guitarzoom.com and sign up for the premium membership, which gives you access to over 40 step-by-step courses that I am absolutely confident are going to help you. So all you need to do is head over to guitarzoom.com, check those out, and see if it's something that you're interested in. Hey, DH. Hey, Scott. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, for me, unlike at some point in my life, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is have some coffee and watch a little bit of local news. I don't watch national news anymore. I can't take it. So I just watch a little local news, see what the weather's going to be like, see what's going on in my neighborhood. And what I do is I warm up with legato stuff. So I'm sitting there, I make breakfast for my daughter because I drive her to school every morning. And while she's eating, I grab my guitar and I practice legato stuff. I don't plug it in, anything like that. I just practice. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. A couple things just to preface this before we get started. This isn't about using a metronome. This isn't about some sort of real rugged kind of practice, although it can be that, okay? What I want you to understand is it's about two things. Number one, getting warmed up. And if you do it every day, you're going to build strength. There's no doubt about it, okay? And then number two is finding the issues that you have with your playing, especially with your fingers, okay? That's what I've always just thought was so amazing about these legato exercises is having the issues that you have kind of come to the surface as you practice. So you look at this, like for me, I always tell people, and I'm not even lying, when I wake up in the morning and I grab my guitar, now again, I am blessed to be able to do that. A lot of people have to, go to work and then they'll play guitar later in the afternoon or in the evening or something like that. And it would apply in that case as well. But when I grab the guitar for the first time each day, my fingers need a bit of retraining, and I think it's because I'm getting older, right? And so when I grab the guitar, I can't play like I want to right out of the gate. I have to warm up. It's just the way it is. If I try and grab the guitar and just start playing, I don't play as well as I should. Now, this morning I did a little bit of practice, but I kind of saved it for right now, okay? So I'm not on my A game right now as I'm talking to you. I'm going to get my day going. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what I want to talk to you about is exactly what I do when I grab the guitar. Now, when I was a kid, I used to have these exercises plastered all over my wall where I would look at them and I would try and do all of these exercises. I bet there was probably 60 different exercises to do. And I didn't do them. Either that or I wouldn't do them all, certainly. And if I did do them all, I wouldn't do them for a certain amount of time. And that's why what I want to do is simplify your life. I'm not trying to give you 60 different things to do. I want to give you just a few categories of things to think about when you grab the guitar and you start practicing. Now, again, you're either practicing to warm up or you're practicing to strengthen. And oftentimes, both those things can go hand in hand, and that's awesome. But just remember, the other benefit is you'll start recognizing where you're having issues with your playing. And that's a good thing, because then you can work on those. So the first thing I want to do is just talk to you about what I do. Okay, so when I grab the guitar, and again, I'm plugged in now, but I normally wouldn't be, and you could play, acoustic or clean or whatever. I just have my normal Kemper tone on right now is what I'm using. And yes, I use distortion. And that's okay. If you don't want to use distortion, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab any string, and usually I'll grab the third string or the second string or something like that, but it doesn't make any difference. And I'll just start doing this. Okay? And again, there's no amount or minutes or something like that, and I don't have a metronome. I'm just trying to get warmed up. Now, let's be real. When you start doing legato stuff, and we're dealing with our 4 fingers here, anything that you do with your first finger tends to be pretty comfortable. As you move away from your first finger, if it's going to get more difficult, it's going to get more difficult as you move away from that first finger. The problem spots tend to be when you move to these 3 fingers or you move to these 2 fingers, right? And we all probably kind of know that already, but it's just important to think about that. So as I start warming up, I'm just getting the hammer-on and pull-off. I'm getting the legato to just kind of relax, right? Now, as I do legato, and let me just talk about that for a second, I'm trying to relax everything. I'm trying to relax my shoulder, my forearm, my wrist. Everything that I do, I'm trying to just relax as I play. So as I'm doing this legato, one of the reasons why I have a little bit of distortion on is because I don't want to work really hard at this. I'm not trying to hurt myself. I'm just trying to warm up. So as I do this hammer-on and pull-off motion, everything is done very relaxed, which is really how I play guitar anyway. So Raj 2005 says, "What's up? I just broke my string." Sorry about that, Raj. Now, you might want to explore, and again, I don't mean to keep interrupting what I'm talking about here, but you might want to explore your application or execution of what you're doing too, to make sure that you're doing this in the most relaxed way possible. So as I start doing this, the next thing I do is I simply move into doing 1 and 3 and just kind of get that warmed up. And then move into 1 and 4. And you're going to notice with this hand how I'm kind of touching all the other strings just to keep them quiet. Now, if I was practicing at home without an amp, I wouldn't be doing that necessarily, although it is kind of second nature to me to do that. But I just try to keep everything kind of quiet as I'm doing this. So that's what this hand is doing, just so you know. So okay, now there's no, the point I want to make with this is there's no rhyme or reason to this right now. I'm not trying to do one for 60 seconds and something like that. I'm just trying to warm things up. Okay? Now, as I start getting those warmed up, if I feel like there's a bit of tension in one of those motions, I might do that a little bit more. Or maybe I'll stop and just stretch out a little bit before I keep going. Just something like that. Because stretching is another really a key element for me, especially as I get older, is making sure that I'm always stretching out so it feels comfortable as I'm doing this. If I start sensing some pain or something, obviously I'm going to stop and figure out what's going on. Although, to be honest, I don't really get that anymore, but there was a time when I certainly would. Okay, so as I go, okay, then what I might do is I start moving into maybe just doing something like this. Now, can you suggest something for beginners? This is what I would suggest for beginners. You don't, remember, as I'm playing this, everybody, it isn't about how fast I'm doing it or how fast I'm switching. It's the process of the hammer-on and the pull-off with the different finger combinations. As you can see right now, I'm doing 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and 1 to 4. That's all I'm doing right now is just finger combinations of hammer-ons and pull-offs from 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and 1 to 4. How often does this turn into Thunderstruck by AC/DC? Well, it's pretty similar to that, isn't it? So that's all I'm doing is just that. You go at your own pace. You figure out what works best for you, what's most comfortable for you. And again, the third thing that I was talking about was also start figuring out what is a struggle for you. Okay, and as we keep going, you're gonna recognize that more. So let's keep going. So then what I might do is I might start making a little pattern out of this and simply start doing this. So I'm just going 1, 2, 3. Okay, I should say 2, 3, 4. We'll use this finger combination. See, so, and again, this is just something that's comfortable for me as I play. So I'm dealing with this 4-finger combination right now. We'll move into this 3 and this 2 in just a little bit here, but we're starting off with just a generic 4-finger combination where I'm just doing hammer-ons and pull-offs to 1 and 2, and then 1 and 3, and then 1 and 4, and it's all feeling pretty good, okay? So as I keep going here, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll make a little pattern out of it, maybe where I go. See that? Now the reason I might do something like that is because I'm trying to use a little bit more of the 3rd and 4th fingers because those need a little bit more work than my 1st and 2nd fingers do. It's okay. Just something that works, okay? So that's where I would start normally with just doing something like that. Then what I would do is I would start moving into doing a bit more of this. So now I'm going to bypass this finger. I was at the 5th fret, and again, it doesn't matter what string or what fret you're on. But I'm going to go to the 2nd finger now right here, and I'm simply going to start doing some hammer-ons, warming up with 2 to 3, and then 2 to 4. Now, as you do these, you might notice that these are a little bit more difficult. Anytime you bypass the 1st finger, things get a little more difficult, but I'm telling you, they're very important, especially if you learn how to play, diatonic scales, 3-note per string stuff, things like that. You really need to learn how to utilize these finger combinations. So as I'm doing this, see that? So then what I might do is start making a pattern where I just go like this. Just back and forth with those 2 fingers. Just over and over and over, trying to develop those fingers a little bit. And then lastly, what I would do, now I have a bunch more things to give you, but lastly, in this little section of our discussion, I would move into doing 3 and 4. So notice I'm still sitting in the same position. I'm not moving around, although you certainly can. I just started off doing 1, 2, and then 1, 3, and then 1, 4. Right? And then I made a pattern of just going sequentially through these fingers, although you wouldn't have to do that. But it's just something I do. Okay? And then what I would do is I would move into putting my middle finger down. This finger can be down or up, it doesn't matter. And then I start warming up 2 to 3 and 2 to 4. And then I might start doing a pattern where I move back and forth between those. Okay? And then I move to 3 and 4. Just move to that one and do that one. Okay? Let's see here. Kevin says, do you have the pull up your first finger when you start using the second as your bass? Not really. The most important thing here is that you keep somebody centered on the guitar. Somebody's got to be locked onto the guitar. One of your fingers has to be locked onto the guitar. I mean, all of this kind of stuff obviously takes some time. Give me just 1 second here. My heat's going to kick on. And I don't want that. Otherwise, it's going to get noisy in here. I live in North Dakota, if you didn't know, and it's actually getting quite nice outside right now. So the heat is less necessary. Okay, so let's keep going here. So I've done 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. I created the sequence. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2, 3, 2, 4, create a sequence out of that. And then ultimately 3, 4. Okay, makes sense? So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and start doing some other things. The next thing that I do is once I've done all those fingers together like that, I might do something where I just start using 3 fingers, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a group of 3, and this will look a lot like diatonic if you've been practicing your scales at all. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to do this. I'm going to use 1, 2, and 4, okay? And I'm going to do 1, 2, and 1, 4. Now that becomes more of a realistic thing that I would do if I was actually playing, okay? So I'm doing just 1, 2, and 1, 4. So I'm going 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 2, 1, 4. Okay, just over and over and over. And again, the other thing that's nice about this too is just getting the pattern that you're looking for to start dialing in. Now, this is a whole nother conversation, but sometimes when you start working on a new pattern on the guitar or a sequence, whatever you want to call it, you have to kind of step away a little bit and try and learn to feel the motion of that guitar pattern that you're trying to figure out, right? So as I do... Hey, DP. You see? And then I might start doing the same thing with 1, 3, and 4. That way what I'm doing is I'm trying to focus on, these are realistic things that I would be using in my playing, right? So another thing that I can do once I've developed this 1, 2, 1, 4 or 1, 3, 1, 4 is just start doing what I call round robin, where I just simply play up. So I'm using 1, 2, 4, 2, 1. That's all I'm doing. Always sounds like Speed Racer to me. Why is it so hard to use the pinky? Because you have to develop it. That's the whole thing, is the pinky, especially this finger combination, 3 and 4, the tendons are a little bit different in this than they are in the rest of your hand, and so it takes a lot more strength. Obviously, your pinky is very weak compared to your other fingers, and it takes a lot of time to develop that. But then the other thing is the development of these 2 fingers together. Now, right now, I'm just going 1, 2, 4, 2, 1. Hey, Ganesh. You see that? All right, so next thing I'm going to do is the same idea with 1, 3, and 4. And if you really have a hard time with the pinky, remember doing these exercises. Do 1, 4. Do 2, 4. And do 3, 4. Do a lot of things to develop that, but again, these things take time. I mean, developing, strength and dexterity and all that stuff in your fingers takes time. So hopefully that makes sense. Hey, Tashi, thank you for joining us. All right, so if that makes sense, I've done my 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, and then a series with that. 2, 3, 2, 4, and a series with that, and then 3, 4, which there's really no series for. Then what I did was I moved into doing 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 3, and 4. And I did that 2 different ways, right? If that makes sense to you, I went 1, 2, 4, like this, and this, and 1, 3, and 4, same thing. Now again, that already might be too much for you. I'm not trying to give you an encyclopedia of 100 things to do. I'm just telling you this is what I do when I grab the guitar. That just a natural thing is just to start with groups of 2, and then I move to groups of 3, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay? Now, for me, one of the most important things to do next is to make the transition to doing some patterns that I use in my guitar playing. Okay, so one of the most important things for me to do next is to take the 1, 2, 4 or the 1, 3, 4, which are definitely things that I use in my playing, and start connecting them to another string. Okay, so again, remember, generally I'm not sitting around with an amp at this point. So I'm just playing with my electric and can barely hear myself, but I can feel myself playing, right? So as I do this, the next thing I would start doing is I would start doing 1, 2, 4 or 1, 3, 4, but I would connect to the first finger of the first string. Now, the reason is because I'm on the second string, so I'm just going to the first string. If you were on the third string, you'd connect to the second string, or if you were on the fourth string, you'd connect. It doesn't matter. It's, again, I'm just going. Now, I'm not picking, although if I was trying to play this actually, you know, in a song or something, I might actually pick the first one of each sequence. Every time I move to a new string, I would maybe pick to get that string vibrating. See, but right now, because I'm practicing for the most part without an amp when I do this, I'm not really concerned with that. It's more just the motion of playing. So that's 1, 3, and 4. Or I could do 1, 2, and 4. Frank, you're not late. I just never know when I'm going to start. So you're not late, Frank, and you can always watch it later. Hey, Bill, thank you so much. Right, just anything like that. But what I'm doing is I'm taking the 1, 2, 4 or the 1, 3, 4, and I'm connecting it to another string, okay? Now, for those of you that know, hey, Domingo, now for those of you that know about spread fingerings, which are really important, what I would do is I would take the 1, 2, 4, and instead of playing 5, 6, and 8 for frets, I would play 5, 7, and 9 like this. Now, some people like to use their third finger, so they play 5, 7, and 9 with their third finger. I'm playing 5, 7, and 9 with my middle finger, but either way is perfectly fine, doesn't matter, okay? And I would start doing the exact same thing. Using those fingers, okay? So again, I'm not trying to make this complex. If you just think about it, all I'm doing is I just started off doing groups of 2, and now I've moved into doing groups of 3. I did groups of 3 on one string, and all I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to make a connection to the first string. Hey Scott, how you doing, buddy? So I'm just connecting from the second string at this point to the first string, just to give me a legitimate sequence that I would maybe use in my regular playing, you see? So as I play, okay? So if you're with me so far, I'm just about done. I don't want to overload you with anything. The next thing I would do is I would just start doing another what I call round robin, where let's say I'm doing 1, 2, 4, right? That's what I was doing, was the 1, 2, 4 stuff. I would just, and maybe I just did 1, 2, 4, my speed racer thing, and then I started connecting to the first string. Okay, the next thing I would do is I would do this round robin where I'm just going to do 1, 2, 4 on both strings. So I'm literally just going just 1, 2, 4 all the way up and then all the way back. And I'm just doing legato the whole time. Yep, are those double single coil? They are. Yep, that's what they are. This is a little 59, and this is a duck bucker, if you know what that is. See, I'm just going around in a circle. I'm just going all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. And then I would do the same thing with 1, 3, 4, literally like this. Now, here's the deal. If I started doing that 1, 3, 4, and I was really struggling with that, that might tell me, hold on, and go back to just doing 1, 3, 4, or just separating those. Or maybe just 3 and 4, right? That's what I have to be cognizant of as I'm practicing these, is if I start running into a problem with something, do I need to simplify? Do I need to move backward and find something a little bit easier to develop this bigger pattern that I'm trying to create, okay? So that's something that you really have to think about as you do this, okay? See how I'm just right there what I'm doing, and again, I'm not trying to overly play fast. I just don't want to waste your time, and this is how I would practice, okay? I'm just doing some different things. I'm doing a round robin, then I'm just doing the connection to the first string. I'm just doing different things like that because those are the patterns that I've done for so many years when I sit around and I practice this. So this to me is a prep. This is a warm-up for me before I get going with my day of playing guitar, whatever that's going to be. I sit and I just practice these things over and over and over, and that's what I want you to be thinking about. Okay? I want to see if I've got really anything else. I think that's probably enough right now for you to work with, although there's many other things like this that you could keep going with. It's legato, not elgato. It's legato. Legato means you're not picking anything. Everything's done with hammer-ons and pull-offs. Accidental pull-offs while playing leads. Well, the thing about, Tashi asked, how do you get rid of accidental pull-offs? Well, I'm not sure if you mean accidental pull-off in that you're getting a sound that you don't want, but the trick is whenever you're soloing, whenever you're playing, is to keep all the other strings quiet as you're doing whatever it is you're... You know, whether you're picking or legato or anything, you know, whatever it is you're trying to do is trying to control all those strings. So whatever you're not playing at that point in time, you try and control those strings so they don't make noise. You see? That takes time to learn how to kind of control those. You know, it's not like I'm always perfect at it either. It takes time. So these are all different things that I practice. So anyway, hopefully that helps you a little bit in some ideas of legato. Next week, we're going to be talking about picking. And again, things that I do just to warm up my picking, okay? So remember, if you want some really great training, do me a favor. Head over to GuitarZoom.com, sign up for the premium membership, which gives you access to over 40 step-by-step guitar courses that I've created that I am absolutely confident are going to help you. So that's over at GuitarZoom.com. And otherwise, have a wonderful day, have a great week, and I will see you again next Monday for the next motivation. Please like and share and let people know about this. The more people that show up, the more I can keep doing this stuff, all right? So take care, stay positive, and I'll